Welcome to Conversations Live, where we bring you the best in music, books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us. Now, here is your host, Cyrus Webb.
So please help me welcome Mr. Paul Wall. How you doing, Paul?
What it do?
Hey, welcome to Conversations Live, man.
Yeah, for sure. Much love.
Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Man, I came up in Houston, Texas, doing street promotions for Def Jam and No Limit back in like 98, 99. And I just, got on my grind and from the bottom, from the very bottom. I'm talking about, like toe jam. I'm talking about the bottom of the bottom. The gum on the bottom of your shoe is where I started off. And I just worked my way up with just hard work, perseverance, keeping faith in God and just building up relationships with other people and just, sharpening my skills on the mic.
Well, Paul, I think, you're building those relationships is something that has really earned you well, because we look at the albums that you have released and the features you've had, everyone from Jermaine Dupri, Snoop Dogg, Trina. On the new project, you're working with Gorilla Zoe, Young Jock, and others. Do you think it's because you're so down to earth and you never forgot where you come from that makes you so easy to work with other artists?
Yeah, I think so. It's something that was instilled in me for a long time from my mother. She's, kind of the same way. That's where I get it from. And, that's why I got the nickname the People's Champ, because I just show love. I show love to people and treat people with respect. It goes back to the golden rule. You treat people how you want to be treated. Exactly.
And with your amazing career, you've not only been doing some major things with music. I mentioned in my intro of you, Paul, that you have another group that you work with, Expensive Taste, that you do with Travis Barker and Skinhead Rob. Then you have a clothing line as well as other projects. A lot of people know you, of course, because of the grills. You really have made those be a big standout. When it comes to branding yourself, and, we hear a lot of times recording artists doing different projects, but you've been successful at each one of them. How important is it, though, for you not to be considered a one note and just do one thing, but to branch out and to be, a part of other people's lives?
Well, the thing is, you got to try. I heard Kobe say, There was an interview talking about how many shots you take in the game, and he said, if you don't ever shoot, he ain't never gonna make nothing. And that's just how it is. You're not gonna hit everything. So I've done plenty of things that I failed at, but they get overlooked by the success of the other things. So you just gotta try, and you ain't never gonna get nowhere if you don't ever try. So I've tried a lot of things, and some of them work, some of them haven't. And but you gotta be open-minded and try different things. Because look at Will Smith. Say, what if he would have never started acting? He's right. One of the biggest actors there. Him, Mark Wahlberg. These are all former rappers.
Right.
Mark Wahlberg, Queen Latifah. Ice Cube. Just think of all they did was stick to music.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? The world would be less some of the greatest actors there are these days. So And that's just how it is. Just same with the clothing line. Look at all the rappers before me who, had their own clothing line, like Nelly with the Vocal and the Apple Bottom, and Jay-Z with the Rockaware, and Puff Daddy with Sean John.
Right.
So, and Fat Farm with Russell Simmons. So, it's been around for a long time with, artists. And that's where I learned it from. I saw how other people was getting money in different areas, and I thought, why can't I? So I just try to branch myself out, and it's something that goes back a long way. I was taught, to have a hustle for every season, because sometimes things slow down. That's just the nature of the business, of every business. Life is like a roller coaster. Sometimes things are fast, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. So that's just how I was learned, how I was taught. It was learned in me to have different hustles. So I tried a lot of different things coming up when I was doing street promotions. I was rapping too, but rapping wasn't paying the bills. So I said, okay, how can I pay the bills with, another hustle of something that I love, and I love music. So let me do street promotions. And, especially because around my area there weren't too many people that would go out and do the things I would do, like at 3 in the morning, putting stickers up on call boxes, running from police, putting flyers out, things like that. And also I was DJing like a lot of different clubs around the town too. So I was DJing, doing promotions, rapping. I was even doing grills. And it just so happened that, the grill took off, the rapping took off, the street promotions. I think it would have taken off, and same with the DJing if I would have stuck to those things instead of the rapping or the grills. But being that the grills and the rapping took off so fast for me, I just had to ride that wave.
Exactly, and it has definitely paid off for you. You are one of these people that's very recognizable. I mean, when I had posted we were going to be speaking with you, Paul, we had people who were talking about, oh, yeah, I remember seeing him from My Sweet 16 on MTV, and then some people, of course, remember you from the single with Brooke Hogan. So, I mean, you definitely had that crossover appeal, and you're right. To be able to make it in this industry, you do have to be able to diversify yourself. Now, with all the different things you're doing, Paul, I follow you on Twitter, which is how you and I were connected, and you tweet a lot about being with your family, being with the wife, the kids. How do you find that balance? Because there are a lot of artists out there, man, who aren't able to do that as successfully. You've managed to find a way to do it. How has it worked for you?
Well, I think you got to have your priorities. And for some people, family is important to them, but it's not their number one priority. Their career is. For me, my number one priority above and beyond everything is my family. I think part of that comes from growing up in a broken home, dysfunctional family. That, that's something I always wanted. I took a lot of pride in it. When I grow up and I have my own family, that's going to be the number one thing in my life. And that's how it is for me. It's the number one thing in my life. But that don't mean I don't go to work every day. It's something that was instilled in me from my dad. Instilled that in me that you got to go pay the bills. You got to work. You got to be responsible. That's all part of being a man and an adult. Sit around the house on the couch, watch TV all day. You got to pay the bills. So, I go to work, but the work is because I do the work that I love. I'm blessed to be able to have a job that I love to do. But the purpose of me going to work isn't for me to ball out of control. Is to support my family. So that's my motivation right there.
And our final moments with you, Paul, and again, thank you for taking out the time, man. We know you're busy, so we appreciate you coming through. We have a lot of young people who I know are tuning into this interview simply because you're here with us. What would you say to those young people, Paul, when it comes to pursuing their dreams and what they should be doing?
Well, the biggest problem I see with people that want to make it but aren't making it is they have a lack of patience. You got to have patience. It's not your time. It's not your time. You might have to wait. And it's a long line of artists who's trying to come up. You go through McDonald's, and I'm getting demos in the drive-through at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? So everybody rap these days.
Right.
I get pulled over by the police. The policeman give me a demo. So everybody rap these days. So you got to have patience, and you got to wait your turn, because sometimes it's not your turn. It's a long line of people trying to get in through that door. And, what worked for me might not necessarily work for you, but, the biggest advice I give to anybody is just have patience, keep your faith in God, stay grinding and making music and being consistent with your skills, and don't be afraid to try new things. And you got to build up your relationships with people. Don't burn bridges. You got to build bridges, don't burn them, because those bridges will help you out in the long run.